If you want to be more efficient and effective while running your business with more inner peace, then working on the core of your issues instead of putting on a band-aid is vital. Welcome to the Business Brain Podcast.
I'm your host, Esty Rapport, and here to help you improve your 28 cognitive functions, the 28 things that make up thinking. In each episode, we'll discuss a real-life challenge, why you might be struggling with it, and give you practical strategies so all areas of your life will improve.
You've got an employee who's really good at her job, but is constantly making mistakes that are costing you money. You know, it's just a mistake, but you can't keep on letting it happen. How do you prevent it from happening again in the future? That's what's coming up next on the Business Brain Podcast, episode 401. But first, if you want to make your life easier, if you want to be more productive, you want to get more done in less time, you want to stop procrastinating, you want things to just flow with ease because things just happen naturally, you'll want to apply for your Brain Rewired, our 90-day cohorts where high-achieving entrepreneurs come together to improve their 28 thinking skills and achieve peak brain performance. So yes, running your business happens a whole lot easier. Head over to lifepicksuniversity.com/your brain rewired. That's lifepicks, P-I-X, university.com/your brain rewired. Now, for today's real life challenge, imagine your employee missed a crucial deadline for a client project, causing a delay in the client's business. That client is now frustrated and wants to pull out of the contract. The first thing you've got to understand is that most people are good people. They're not purposely trying to do something wrong in your business. Now, I'm not saying to be naive about this and just trust everyone with your codes and passwords and access to all your money. But you do want to understand what caused them to make this mistake. Obvious answers could be either weren't careful, too much stress, not understanding the policies. But you know me. I'm going to tell you to go deeper. What caused the cause to make that mistake? Or in simpler words, what weak cognitive function do they have that caused that mistake? Because all mistakes, or I should say almost all mistakes, come from weak cognitive functions, weak thinking skills. Once you understand this, it's a lot easier to give your employees grace and approach them in a way where change will actually happen. You've got to be careful here because this is not about letting your employees get away with anything and everything. This is about you being able to understand it. They still have the responsibility of the job. They still have to play up to par, even if they have weak cognitive functions, because that's the way the world works. You, as the employer, need to understand the core issue, the weak cognitive function, and help them prevent it from happening again in the future, because after all, it is your business. And it all boils down to your responsibility. You have every right not to hire someone or not to keep someone because of their weak cognitive functions. If you want to think of it another way, you don't hire everyone because not everybody has the right skills or experience that you need for this specific job or even for your business culture, etc. So for that, just like that, you could also not hire someone for their weak cognitive functions. You don't want to fire everyone just because they have weak cognitive functions, because we all have them. And it is your job to figure out if the weak cognitive function this person has is okay for the role that they play in your business or not. They may be really good at their job, but have a few weak cognitive functions, and you can help them improve it so they stop making those mistakes and do an even better job. So, what should you do if you have an employee who is always making mistakes? 5 things. Number 1, for yourself, start by understanding what cognitive function caused that mistake. See if there's a pattern in where the mistakes are happening. Instead of saying, oh, you should have learned from your previous mistakes in the past, recognize that the reason why it's keeping happening over and over again is because the same cognitive function is getting in the way over and over and over again. If you want, you can take the cognitive function assessment for them from their perspective, almost like a performance review at lifepixuniversity.com/CF. That's lifepix, PIX, university.com/CF. So you're going to assess them based on what you know about them. Number 2, you can have that employee take the cognitive function assessment by themselves so they can begin learning about the cognitive functions. Remember, if your employee is making a lot of mistakes at work, it is probably, or it is also happening at other areas of their lives. By you helping them improve their cognitive functions, not only will they be better at work, but their whole lives will become easier. Number 3, when you talk to them, it might be a smart idea to mediate them instead of just telling them. Mediation is the process of asking someone questions so a person comes to the conclusion by themselves. We spoke about mediation in episodes 354 and episode 398. So you could go check those out for more details on how, instead of just telling them what they should do, you ask them questions. And this way their brain becomes active and they actually make the change. Number 4, make growth mindset a culture in your business. Instead of getting mad at people when they make mistakes, ask them what they can learn from the situation. You can also ask them what cognitive function did they not use that caused them to make the mistakes. And soon you'll start seeing your employees reminding each other to use the cognitive function. You can take the growth mindset one step further by giving your employees time to try new things where they will make mistakes, and it's okay. All they've got to do is get back up. Literally free time to try out new things and see what happens. Number 5, your employees are still responsible for their actions, no matter where their cognitive functions are at. And you want to empower them to take 100% responsibility. Allow them to feel ownership over their tasks, and if possible, allow them to do it in a way that their brain works best. By the end of the day, you are the owner and you're responsible for all of that, including your employees' mistakes. Today we spoke about employees who make big mistakes and how to prevent it from happening in the future. You are the owner, so everything that happens in the business is your responsibility. However, at the same time, you want them to be responsible for their actions. So here are 5 things you can do to help them with it. Number 1, understand their cognitive functions. Number 2, help them understand their own cognitive functions and what they can do to improve it. Number 3, mediate them through the process instead of just telling them, oh, you made a mistake. Number 4, develop growth mindset as part of a culture in your business. And number 5, help them develop 100% responsibility for their actions. Your challenge this week is to recognize what cognitive function did someone else's mistake come from, either in your business or at home. And better yet, if you can do all the 5 things we spoke about. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you next week.
That's all for this episode of the Business Brain Podcast. If you enjoyed it, please share it with 2 of your business friends so they too can gain from it, and you'll be helping us reach our goal of 1 million downloads by the end of 2025. Cheers to peak brain performance.